Passengers, your attention please. The ferry now arriving is a scheduled 9:25 sailing bound for Lopez Island. Walk-on passengers, please remain inside the terminal waiting room area until you're called for boarding. Passengers will be called to board as soon as the vessel has completely offloaded. Passengers with bicycles, kayaks, or other forms of paid stowage will proceed down the sidewalk next to the terminal building for boarding on the car deck level, slip 1. Drivers and passengers of vehicles bound for Lopez Island, please return to your cars. Good morning. Welcome to video number 3 in the series of San Juan Island Ferries 101. This video is going to be about fees, fares, and tickets. And it seems like the more I've thought about this since writing down my thoughts on the board, the more I realized I was probably going to need some coffee. We're starting to see spring here. The frogs are croaking. The grass is growing way faster than I want it to. I'm going to have to be a slave to the yard while I try to get the boat and motorhome and everything de-winterized and ready for spring and summer. So passenger quantities are starting to increase at the ferry already, so I figured I'd better get busy and make this video. I think the final video, I've probably got 1 or 2 more videos to go in the series. I think one of them will be about the islands, about what I know of the islands. I haven't been up there a great length of time. You have to cross some pretty dangerous, possibly dangerous areas of water to get out to the islands in a personal boat. And I've made a few trips out there. I did live out there for a year on a boat, but I owned a business there, so I didn't get a chance to get out too much. So anyway, one of the videos I'll try and explain what I can about the islands and show you where to research for those. And I kind of covered a little bit of that in the first video. Tips and tricks on doing your research before you go. And you know, once I got to thinking about fees, fares, and tickets, And after working, selling fares and tickets, I decided I want to start this video off with ticket purchasing. Some of the best ways to go about it, some of the worst ways to go about it if you don't do it right. Because when you show up here to get your tickets, you want that process to be as quick as possible and get yourself in line to get on a boat to get out to the islands. So I'm going to cover a little bit of ticket booth etiquette, which is a bit of frustration for us up here, and we realize that you're tourists, but I think if you watch this video, you'll be a little better prepared and make our jobs a lot easier and your day a lot smoother. Tickets look like this, the passenger tickets and the vehicle tickets, the 10-ride tickets, the multi-ride tickets, all look like this. There are several ways to purchase your tickets. I'll cover that in a little bit. Ticket booth etiquette. When you pull up to the ticket booth in your vehicle, well, let me start over. Anything that's really, really important that I get asked quite a bit, I will say twice. And one of the first things I want to say is that all fares that we sell are round trip. You buy a fare going out to the islands, you can stay at the islands as long as you wish. And anytime you want to come back, if there's room on a boat, you can come back for free. These islands, the only way you can get to these islands is by boat or airplane. So some of the ferries up here in the state will charge passenger fares coming back eastbound. And those are places that you can get to those places by driving, by bridges, by highways. So they get people that come both ways. So they charge both ways. In the San Juan Islands, we charge one fare round trip. You can go to any of the islands you want and return for free. We also have an inter-island service out there where you can go from island to island. In the summer, it's always best to try to make reservations if you're doing something like that. Sometimes they may not allow reservations for inter-island travel. Inter-island travel is in the height of the season is probably better on foot if you just want to see the docks at some of the islands than it would be in a vehicle. Three of the islands of the four that we sail to, the town and most of the tourist activities are a few miles from the dock. So unless you have transportation once you get to the dock, it's impossible to see the whole island. I will say that motorcycles and scooters always get on a boat. They always put them on first. They don't take up a vehicle space, so if you're on a scooter or a motorcycle, your odds of exploring all the islands and what they have to offer is far greater than it is in a vehicle. So when you pull up to a ticket booth in a vehicle, they charge you for the vehicle and the driver. That's one fare, car and driver. That includes the driver, and then we charge for additional passengers in the vehicle. All fares are subject to change. Any fares that I state today or allude to are always subject to change. The fares change by the season, the fares change by different discounts that are offered, and by the lengths of the vehicles. So you can purchase your tickets online. or you can purchase them at the dock. If you have a smartphone, or if you have a computer at home and a printer, you can purchase your tickets online. Now, I run into a lot of people that are not tech savvy, but they want to try this to try and save in some time. And like I said, unless you do it properly, it ends up costing you more time than it saves you. When you buy your tickets online, they'll generally send you an email. People also get confused with when you make a reservation on one of the vessels, they charge you a no-show fee to your debit card. This can be $10 to $12. That price varies. And that fee, when you make your reservations, is there in case you don't show up for your reservation. You get charged for that fee because you've made a reservation to take up space on the boat and you weren't there to take up that space. So a lot of people get that confused with the fare going to the islands, and they think that by paying that fee for the reservation that the ticket was included, and it's not. When you buy your tickets online, they'll send you an email. In that email, there should be a link in there somewhere. Pardon my espresso machine turning itself off. There should be a link in the email underlined that will say view or print your PDF, the PDF version of your ticket. If you choose to print the ticket, what we're looking for at the booth is either a barcode or a QR code to scan. That's how we scan pre-purchased tickets. If you choose to print your ticket and it's a barcode, if the printer heads aren't aligned on your printer, the printed version will not scan. There is a huge number above the barcode that I have to have you read me 4 digits at a time to manually enter your ticket in. And if this happens to you and you're trying to save time by buying your tickets online, it's taken you already 4 times as long as it would be just to hand your debit card and purchase the tickets at the booth. Some people purchase multi-ride tickets. I'll cover that a little bit later. For walk-on passengers, they have 10-ride tickets. For car and driver, they have 5-ride tickets. These multi-ride tickets are good for 90 days, and they're for frequent commuters. They even have some that are plastic that have the barcode on them, and they're refreshable, so they can refresh them online, add money to them. We accept what's called an ORCA card for payment. The ORCA card has to be specifically for the ferries. Some ORCA cards are designated by employers to only cover bus fare or to only cover ferry fare on a certain route or a certain direction. So you'll have to look into that yourself if you want to try and pay with an ORCA card. But generally a debit card is the quickest way to pay for your tickets at the booth. Some people choose to buy the multi-rides and share them with friends. And what they'll do is they'll take a photograph of the ticket with the barcode, and about 4 times out of 10, those pictures are able to be scanned. Whenever you take a picture of something, especially something with a barcode that needs to be scanned, if you're using a smartphone, what you need to do is pull your smartphone away a little ways and then zoom in on the picture so you don't get a shadow of a smartphone across the barcode. And right before you take the picture, you need to tap on your phone screen right where the barcode is on the ticket, and that'll bring up a little yellow square that'll focus on that barcode. The mistake a lot of people make is they'll just take a picture of the ticket and the camera will focus somewhere else besides the barcode, and then that hence makes the barcode so blurry that it's not scannable by our scanners. So make sure that you take the time, or if somebody's sending you a ticket, that they take the time to focus on the barcode before they take the picture, so that you'll have a clear barcode that we can scan. If not, you'll have to read all these numbers, 15, 20 numbers, 4 digits at a time, and that's very time consuming. You also got to keep in mind that there's generally a line of cars behind you, so not only doing things right will save you time, but it'll save time for everybody else who's taken the time to make sure they've done their research and they're ready to ride the ferry and have their payments arranged and done properly. So that's one of my pet peeves. Vehicle tickets are printer heads that aren't aligned, and they print out a copy of their tickets and it's unscannable, and it just slows everything down. All right, all fares are round trip except to Sydney, British Columbia. I don't know when we're going to be running to Sydney, British Columbia on Vancouver Island again. We haven't heard from Canada whether or not they're going to open that run yet. Vehicle fares vary by season and by destination. Some islands are farther than other islands to get to, and so the fare is going to be more. Passenger fares, as long as I've been there for 2 years, can only vary by season and by year, inflation, but they're generally the same price for every island if you're walking on. Like I said, vehicle fares includes car and driver, so when you pull up to the ticket booth in your vehicle, you'll pay for the car and driver as one ticket, and then you're going to pay for any additional passengers. Some of the discounts that we offer for passengers, anyone 65 years or older is a senior discount, and that's generally half price for a walk-on fare. Disabled, if you have identification showing you're disabled, you can get a discount, about half price. If you're traveling disabled, it's possible to get an attendant for the disabled designation on your disability card, and that allows someone to come with you, say to push your wheelchair or help you get on and off the boat, and they don't have to pay a fare. You'll have to do your research on that yourself. A youth fare is anyone 6 years old to 19. Anyone under 6, of course, rides for free. Don't quite quote me on that, because it could be 6 and under are free. But the youth age right now goes up to 19 years old, and those fares are half price. Like I said, infants ride for free. Vehicle driver tickets are sold, 5-ride tickets. Like I said, they're shareable. They expire in 90 days. So if you're not going to use them up in 90 days, you can trade them with friends or barter, or do whatever you want. And then down here, of course, as I talked about, focus the camera on the barcode. Another thing that can mess up a picture of a ticket being able to be scanned is a screen protector. Some people install screen protectors on their phones, good, and some people install screen protectors on their phones like they do the tint in the back windows of their vehicles, if you know what I mean. If the screen is cracked on your phone, if the screen protector has a lot of bubbles in it, if it has lint in between it, it'll make a multifaceted glare that the scanners won't go through. And then we're stuck reading that lengthy number and holding up everybody in line. So if you've got a terrible screen to display the barcode on your phone, just buy your tickets when you get to the booth. Just hand your card in, or cash, or Orca card, and buy your tickets that way, because it's just going to end up being quicker for you. As soon as you pull up to a booth, if you have any of these prepaid tickets, or a picture of a ticket, or a printout of a ticket, the first thing you say to the traffic attendant, ticket attendant, is what destination you're going to, We're going to Orcas Island. I have a prepaid ticket for car and driver, or I have a prepaid ticket for car and driver, 3 adult passengers and 2 youth, because that saves the ticket seller the time of manually entering in the fares for you, to have you then show them a prepaid ticket, and then we have to delete those manually entered fares and scan the ticket to use the fare. So when you drive up, state your destination, state whether or not you have any prepaid tickets, and then state how you're going to pay for the fares. And understand that the car and driver is going to be one fare, and additional passengers each are going to be another fare. So you'll kind of have savvy about what's going on there. Passenger fares in the winter of 22, adult walk-on is about $14.85 to any destination. Senior passenger fare is $7.40. These are all walk-on fares. Disabled is $7.40, or riding in a vehicle. You either walk on or ride in a vehicle, it's the same price. And a youth is $7.40. The adult 10 ride, like I said, the adult fares are the same to any island. So the adult 10 ride in the winter of 22 is about $98.50, so it's $9.85 round trip, which is a pretty good deal. If you're on a bicycle, you pay extra to get on the ferry. If you're an adult with a bicycle or youth with a bicycle, the fare is more expensive than just a walk-on fare. If you're a frequent commuter, you can buy the 10 ride walk-on pass. If you're a group of 10 people on bicycles and you're adults, you can buy the 10 ride walk-on pass with a 90-day expiration and pay only $14.85 for an adult with a bicycle, as opposed to a higher. Okay, now we'll go into vehicle fares. Like I said, vehicle fares include car and driver. Any additional passengers you will pay for at these rates here. The way they charge for vehicles is by length. When you pay for car and driver, your vehicle, your total vehicle length needs to be 22 feet or under. Keep in mind that this includes bicycle racks, cargo racks, the complete length of your vehicle from bumper to whatever's sticking out off the back end of it. You'll pay one fare for 22 feet and under vehicle in length. Anything over 22 feet, even if it's an inch over, you'll pay a higher rate of equal to or under 30 feet. Then it goes to 40 feet and under, all the way out to 80 feet long and under for some of the larger semi-trucks with dual trailers. Anything over 80 feet, you get charged by the foot. It's also important to understand how the height of a vehicle works. When you're paying for a 22-foot vehicle, 22 feet or under, it's going to be assumed that you're under 7 foot 2 inches tall. And the way this works out on the boats is they have side tunnels on most of the vessels, and they're double stacked. So there's 2 layers of vehicles in the side tunnels on each vessel, and then they put the tall vehicles, anything over 7 foot 2 that won't fit in those tunnels, in the center of the vessel. So that can mean that the tall space on the vessel is limited. It also means that they may want to pack 50 smaller cars in and then put the tall vehicles in and then fill up the remaining space with smaller vehicles. So you'll be loading in different orders. If you're a tall vehicle, you'll also be in a different lane. if you're a taller vehicle than anybody under 7'2". I'll flash a picture here of a vehicle that I just recently saw boarding the ferries that they're considering a mobility scooter when it's actually an enclosed vehicle with 2 seats, 4 wheels, headlights, horn, taillights, everything. But the size of it, they're considering a mobility scooter, and they're allowed to ride the ferry for, if they buy the adult 10-ride ticket. I think these are people that live on the islands. I don't know if I explained this in the previous segment of the video because my battery ran out, but I'll explain it again, as I think that someone who lives on the islands is using this tiny vehicle to commute back and forth on the ferry, and then they exchange it for their vehicle that they have parked in the pay parking lot there, or wherever they happen to park it, and use that to go to town to do their shopping. They come back, park their town vehicle in the slot, and take this little mobility scooter, load it up with their supplies, and then ride the ferry out. So they're able to ride that ferry in this little mobility scooter that you just saw a picture of for $9.85 round trip. So motorcycles, you pay extra to be on a motorcycle, but you always get on a boat on a motorcycle. Motorcycles don't take up vehicle space, so they generally park them sideways on the front end of the ferry. And generally, if you're on a motorcycle, they'll pull you to the front of the line. I covered some of the preferential loading in the previous video, and motorcycles they'll have ride around the cones and park in front of the cones in each line because they want them loaded on first before the vehicles. There's also if you happen to be over 22 feet and under 30 feet and under 7'2" tall, you pay a cheaper rate than you would be being under 30-foot vehicle. Under 30-foot vehicle is more expensive than if you're under 30 feet and under 7'2". I guess it's about, well, I don't want to go into the prices because, like I said, they change frequently. Anything on the back end of your vehicle, hitches, bike racks, cargo is going to cost you extra. When I speak about tall vehicles, you are not charged extra for being a tall vehicle, but like I said, the loading space on the vessel may be limited to tall space. They generally hold 20 or 30 spaces of talls in the center of these vessels. So if you're too tall to fit into the tunnels, that could limit your ability to get on the boat. Well, also when you make your reservations, make sure and note on there that you're over 7'2" when you make the reservation tall. A lot of times I'll see vehicles come in with, that's a great picture, a truck will come in with cargo sticking out the back of the truck. They'll flash me a prepaid ticket for an under 22-foot vehicle, and I tell them, nope, that isn't going to work. You've got to pay extra because of the cargo that's sticking out the back of your vehicle. Sometimes they don't understand the concept of this, but I tell them if you've got this vehicle and another vehicle pulls up behind it, they can't get any closer than what that cargo is sticking out of the back of the truck. So you're taking up extra space. If you've got something that sticks out of the back of the vehicle a little bit, I would go ahead and put it up over the cab and try to get on in the tall vehicle space as opposed to paying for a 30-foot vehicle for some lumber, or something like that. So keep that in mind. If you don't want to pay extra and you want a chance getting on with the tall vehicles, do it this way, so it saves you some money. Any vehicle under 14 feet long gets a discount. If your vehicle's under 14 feet, take the time to measure your vehicle no matter what the length is. Before I started working for the ferries, I tried to take my motorhome, or I did take my motorhome across the Port Townsend ferry out to the Olympic Peninsula because we were going out to the ocean. And I had a cargo rack on the back of my motorhome that had a generator on it, stuff like that, and I just assumed that it was a 20-foot motorhome, so I told them it's 20 feet. They get out with a wheel and we measure your vehicle with a measurement wheel. So if it's under 14 feet, they'll ask you the year, make, and model of the vehicle, and they have a list. We have a list of vehicles that are actually under 14 feet. If your vehicle hasn't made it on the list yet and it's a new vehicle, bring your owner's manual that states the length of the vehicle in the owner's manual, and you can show that to the attendant, and they'll do the math and see if you're under 14 feet. You can also buy multi-ride tickets under 14 feet if you choose to do so. What else here? Anyway, I think that pretty much covers the part that I left out in the previous video. I will try and post a picture of our fall schedule in the video here, and it'll kind of show you the sailing times. Keep in mind all the blue shaded areas are inter-island vessels only. They don't come back to Anacortes. One section of these schedules is westbound traffic going out. The other section of the schedule is eastbound traffic coming back. And pay really close attention to any tiny little symbols next to your sailing times, because those symbols can really mean a lot. A little triangle can mean that no vehicles for that destination gets on the boat, but walk-on passengers do. I know this from experience because I've told people they were going to get on a boat only to find out that I didn't see the little symbol, and they didn't get on that vessel. They were there for a later vessel, and don't take it out on us. If the boats are late, these boats are mechanical. They're machines. They break. Like I said, people leave their headlights on. They leave their cell phones up above. The only time, if it's nice weather in the summer, the only reason that we're behind schedule is either a mechanical breakdown of the vessel or something due to passengers, because passengers go on vacation, and unfortunately their brains go on vacation. Don't send your brain on vacation until you get to your destination. That really helps us out. So anyway, I hope you got some information out of this. The next video is going to be on the islands, what I know of the islands. I haven't spent a lot of time up there. I did live up there for a year on a boat with my son years ago and had a business there, but that didn't give me a lot of opportunity to explore. I spent most of my time down in the South Puget Sound. Eventually I'll start doing some videos of that. I think I'll head down there when the weather up here gets iffy. Like I said, this is really dangerous water up here in the Strait of Juan de Fuca and out to the islands. There's a lot of currents, a lot of winds, and a large tidal exchange. So this can be a dangerous place to sail if you don't take the time to be careful and do my research. So anyway, more videos to come. The next video will be a little bit about the islands, what I know of the islands. I'll try and cover all 4 islands in the next video. So I appreciate you watching. It's starting to be spring, so like I said, I'm a slave to the yard. I got to get the boat uncovered and ready for spring and summer, the motor home, all that stuff. So I'm going to get this next video done. Work giving me time off and not having to do other stuff around here. I will post the next video in a week or 2. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for stopping by. If you like the information that I've given you today, give me a thumbs up down at the bottom. Subscribe if you care to. And if you hit the little bell next to the subscribe button, it'll tell you when the next video comes out. It'll notify you. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to give me a thumbs up. Appreciate you stopping by. Bye.